What's up, gang? Chasing Internet Dragons. Yeah, dude. Are you playing like the classic fucking thing? I don't even know what the current state is of classic. Or are you still doing private server? Oh, private server stuff? Nice.
Talking about WoW.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was wondering because I haven't heard from Artificial Sky in a while.
Yeah, dude, I haven't seen you in a while. It's good to have you come through.
God damn it. Sorry. I was echoing badly. Ascension, that's it. We were talking about the Ascension servers. I think didn't Blizzard like win a lawsuit to say it's like shut down or some shit? Or like Blizzard was going to go after all the Ascension servers? I read something. This is probably like 2 months ago. They are fighting? Okay, good.
Season 10. I'm just trying to look at what it says some of this stuff is.
Are you looking up Ascension WoW?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many. Well, maybe this is just like all. Here, let me.
Well, Shooty's saying there's 21 classes, which is
Yeah.
fucking crazy. So they like made new stuff.
Let's look at overview, I guess, or like features.
So what expansion does this play as? Like what, time frame?
This is going beyond Classic Plus, so I think it probably builds on Classic. But
so is this like TBC or just Classic? Because that sounds pretty cool.
Talent Tree is inspired by Lich King.
Okay, I like that. Lich King was my favorite expansion for sure.
New combinations like Troll Druids, complete with customizable shapeshift forms that reflect your character's appearance. Entirely new narratives with combinations like Blood Elf Warriors, Human Hunters, Troll Druids, Warlocks, Dwarf Shamans and Mages, Orc Mages, Tauren Paladins, Undead Paladins, the Hunters, and Gnome Priests.
Gnome Priest is crazy, dude.
Yeah. Blood Elf and Draenei in Classic.
I mean, I could have done without the Draenei. I fucking hated that choice. They should have done, like, Blood Elves were fine, but I always felt like they should have done, like, Ogres or Goblins for Horde, and then, God, who the fuck was I thinking for Alliance?
Yeah, Draenei were weird, and then were followed by Pandas, so I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was for Alliance. And the whole reason they did Pandas is because they did an April Fool's being like, it's the Pandaren Brewmaster. And everyone was like, please, dear God, we want that. And then they built a whole expansion.
Really?
On that.
I did not know that. That's unfortunate.
I was playing WoW at the time.
Remember when they did the April Fool's joke that said that there was going to be a bard in Diablo 3 and it played like Guitar Hero?
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember that. That would have been good.
I'm glad they didn't actually do that.
Adder, how you doing, bro? Also, I remember... Maybe not remember. That's the wrong word. Recently, I've seen a lot of people like discussing a want and like a need for fucking Guitar Hero or Rock Band to come back.
Yep. I feel like it's a game that can't exist now, though.
Yeah, because of music licensing. It's way too expensive.
They tried to do it with, I think, Guitar Hero and Rocksmith, which is like probably one of the only things that like kind of competed there for a little bit, but like they both tried to do the same model where they effectively shut down the last mainline release that they had put out, and then they released a live service version of their thing that required that you had a subscription to it. And I think that's how they were trying to figure out like the music licensing. And Guitar Heroes was called like Guitar Hero Live, and it was weird. Like you couldn't even pick the song; you would just like play the game, and it would just like go through a stream and you would play whatever song was coming up. And I think that's how they, again, held control over like what the licensing costs were. And then, yeah, Rocksmith, it was like a monthly subscription thing. Yep. And I think they rotated out the songs each month because the music landscape just changed so much from the early days that like, I don't know, if they re-released those games on modern platforms, they probably like wouldn't have a lot of the songs in them because I wouldn't be able to get them anymore.
Beat Saber is not the same thing. Like there was no game that captured what it was like to play in a band with your friends if you weren't musically inclined whatsoever as Rock Band. Like that's what made it work.
The Beat Saber OST is written by one guy, and it has expansion packs, and a lot of them are from Monster Cat, which is royalty-free music. And then they have like some more recent packs, and they're paid packs, and those contain licensed songs. And, you know, that's how they cover that. But if you look at the original Beat Saber OST, it's almost entirely by one dude. And a lot of the songs, you know, have a pretty similar style. But, you know, that's how they get around that. They just, like, they pay that guy. They don't have to pay the record companies and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so Shooter was saying COA, which I assume is Ascension WoW, is 21 new classes. Season 10 stuff is the wild card, and free pick servers BBC Plus is classic plus. It's mostly Wrath of the Lich King based in the class world. Nice. Classic world. What's BBC Plus? They were going to drop pandas early on because of obscure Warcraft lore, but they were releasing in China at the time, so pandas were out, and Draenei were in last second. Yeah, I mean, Draenei play like they went in last second. It's very weird the way they did that. There's an indie Guitar Hero rock band in development by the Rock Band team after they got shut down. Very cool. If they do that right, they could make a lot of fucking money. I think that I feel like gamers, not just millennial gamers with nostalgia, are actually really wanting something like that. Like, I think Gen Z is yearning for doing stuff in person with their friends. I think they're just like, this fucking sucks. Why don't we do this? And I think they like really want to hang out with their friends in person. And yeah, that could be a great way to do it.
You'd have to come up with something like novel, I think, at this point, though, because there's Clone Hero if you're like a really big like Guitar Hero and Rock Band person at this point on the computer. That is a perfect copy of those games, works with every song they ever had, works with every peripheral. Like, that's going to be hard to compete with, especially as an indie team, and if you can't license music, I guess. But if you could come up with a novel gameplay concept that nobody's done before, then I think that could still compete. The Beat Saber is probably the last one that we had that was like a new thing that actually worked.
Oh shit. Okay. Artificial Sky is saying BBC Plus was Wrath of the Lich King, but in the classic WoW world at level 60, no Death Knight and a bunch of quality of life changes. That's interesting. Dude, Blackwing Lair
to instantly power level yourself into that zone from level 1.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of killed it for me.
Yeah, that shit sucked, man. Like when they were like, "Oh, the catch-up mechanic, just fucking click this button and then you're good to go."
So hard to get there, and then they drop an expansion that lets you do it in one button, and it was just like, you literally made all the work that I did just kind of feel meaningless. Really unfortunate.
For me, it was Cataclysm that killed WoW. And I know a lot of people say Cataclysm is the best expansion. I don't think those people were playing since Classic. I rage quit WoW a while after that. Yeah. And I recall, I want to say it was like Asmon was talking about why he doesn't play WoW anymore. And he was saying that Classic WoW was really easy and Cataclysm was like the hardest WoW for raiding. And I mean, it's kind of right. I wouldn't say it's the hardest. It just required more like, there's a lot of stuff you had to juggle. Like every fight, there were like 6 mechanics going on at once, which I kind of understand his point. I wouldn't say it was harder. I think it became more prone to a small mistake wiping the raid and you have to start the whole fight over. I wouldn't necessarily call that harder. I think it was just too like finicky and unpredictable. Whereas like the classic mechanics were difficult because you had to get all 40 people to do the right thing. No power leveling heirlooms after you have a 60. That's pretty cool.
Does Modern WoW still have 40 mans?
No. I think
I was going to say, I feel like
10?
that just
they're either like 10 or 15.
I mean, even back then, it
really
just felt
weird.
like insane that somebody could get 40 people together and get them coordinated to do a thing. And just like, for whatever reason, now it feels like it would be even less possible, even though like we have all the tools.
So my experience with Cata raiding Artificial Sky, you're saying it was too punishing. I think it was too janky. Like I'm thinking about in the Firelands, there was like a big molten giant raid boss, and his footsteps would be like out of sync due to lag. But if you were in the footstep area when he did his trample, you would get instant killed. And that was causing problems. It was very difficult for all of us to be like, when the fuck are you going to get hit by this? Because like the animation sometimes didn't match up due to network latency. And that was really stupid. Ascension uses the good retail shit like flex rating and mythic. Nice. But yeah, I like there was something special about a 40-man raid. Like it was very cool. It was just super interesting. You could have some dead weight. That's what the DPS meters were for. You could tell when someone was not carrying their fair share of like the raid. But at the same time, you could have like a very skilled, geared DPSer carry like 3 other DPSers. And I thought that was okay because it led the whole team to succeed as a unit, right? Because like you would gear them up and then they started performing as well. I'm remembering the fucking crash out about Brutality Blade back in the day. That was a crazy time. We had to have like a fucking hour-long meeting with like our rogues and shit about who got Brutality Blade and talk about our whole like loot DKP system and stuff. Because one of the officers was losing his fucking mind about it. I feel like there was no hesitation to kick people if they weren't dead weight back then. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, Adder, when I played, we were like very hardcore, like one of the top 5 guilds for our faction. We had server first hand of Ragnaros, gave it to a shaman, shit like that, because it was funny. But we were assholes. Like the guild leadership was all military people, so there was no room for any bullshit. There was often yelling, like the old fucking Onyxia raid meme with the French guy that's like screaming, that's a fucking 50 DKP minus and all that. That was most raids for us. When everything was going smoothly, there was no yelling. Everyone was locked in. We got our shit done really fast. It was great. But if we were taking new people, they got yelled at. But we were in a position where we had an entire raid group waiting to join the active raid. So if someone fucked up, they were swapped out instantaneously. And we'd be like, you get a, you can't go on the next raid because you fucked up and you couldn't follow orders, pay attention. Yeah, we're doing great, Brightside. We're talking about classic WoW rating and stuff. Artificial Sky has been gone for a while, but he said that the reason he's been gone is because he's been playing Ascension WoW. I don't know if you should get into that, Brightside, because I remember you were saying you're a big WoW guy, but Ascension WoW is like private server. It's apparently Wrath of the Lich King with the looking high tea today, fellas. Yeah, bro.
That's maybe my new favorite compliment I've ever gotten.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Thank you, Lander. 50 DKP minus is a whole milestone of internet-based gaming. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I was asking Artificial Sky about, Lander. He was saying they're fighting right now, but it's not shut down. He's like real deep in Ascension WoW, and he's loving it. So, but yeah, Brightside, it's level 60 cap. The classic world, so it's sort of like that, but with Wrath of the Lich King like player classes and other stuff, and kind of crazy is what it sounds like. I got a Cultist and Tinker DPS healers. I don't even know what Cultist and Tinker are, dude. That's some nonsense. But yeah, I mean, if you're having fun, that's cool. But yeah, Adder, there was definitely no hesitation, man. Like I remember we had some crazy times. But like again, the reason we could be so harsh and like strict with our raid group and like kick people was because we literally had like another 20, 30 people just sitting online waiting for the chance that one of the main raid people fucked up and they got kicked. And then we would just pull someone in immediately. Summon them in. Boom. Swap out was like less than 3 minutes. It's Grizzly Hills, but bigger and better. Okay. Send some pics of the new zone. All right, man. Yeah, do it. Okay, so gang, it's good having you here. Let's talk about a little bit of the old news. I mean, we've got some interesting stuff. Unfortunately, it's not super happy anymore. Like, not that the game industry has been happy for the last like 2 years. But let's see here. What can I get into first? Okay, since we're talking about WoW, I'll go right into the RuneScape story, which is pretty funny. So I guess the boss of RuneScape did an interview recently with the game business. Jagex is the name of the studio that makes RuneScape. John Bellamy is the RuneScape guy, and his aim, the goal of the company that runs RuneScape, is to dethrone WoW, which is very silly. And Tony and I were talking about this, and it's like WoW holds like 80% of the market, and then the other 20% is like RuneScape, Elder Scrolls Online, like a bunch of other shit. It's like a bunch of different games. But they
looked yesterday, and it's WoW is 8 million monthly active users, and the next one down is Final Fantasy 14, and it's like 800,000. So it's like a factor of 10.
No, ESO is not that big. I said the wrong one. Tony's totally right. It's Final
I actually
Fantasy
didn't look
14.
at ESO, but I would imagine it's probably lower than RuneScape.
I mean, ESO is going to be fucking toast. They obliterated that studio. So yeah, ESO is going to go away. There's no way it's sticking around. ESO is only like 40K. Yeah, I believe that, Adder. Speaking of the numbers, Marathon's looking real bad. They did their PvE experiment yesterday. It launched, and the highest peak that they hit was under 15K. And typically you would see a bump for North America, and then there'd be like a slight dip and then a larger bump as like Europe came online, or like the rest of the world, whatever. Yesterday's for Marathon is a bump, a dip, and then a lower dip. So it's the inverse of all their normal play patterns, which is really bad. And I mean, if they're under 15K, the last big bump was the free weekend at the beginning of season 2. So 2 weeks ago, that hit 40K. It's looking really bad. Joe Ziegler is out. Dell is now the creative director or game director for Marathon, which is bad. I mean, I've told you guys that like when I was working on 0 Hour, there was a director who was like, this mission fucking sucks through his controller, all that, said he hated it. That was Dell. Dell was the guy who was like, this is stupid, we shouldn't make this. And now Dell's in charge of Marathon. This is really bad. It's really fucking bad. ESO 24-hour peak of 11K. I mean, dude, that's
so 40K like, across all platforms is probably about right.
That's better than Marathon. That's bad.
And RuneScape, for what it's worth, was like 400K.
Yeah. So RuneScape is big.
Well, we're talking monthly. So yeah, I know you're saying 24-hour peak, but
yeah.
We were talking monthly active users. WoW had 8 million. Final Fantasy 14 had 800,000, and RuneScape had like 400,000.
Yeah, Adder. So Marathon, we know because there was an analytics firm that was looking at like Sony performance or something like that. And they posted data publicly that said Marathon's user base was like 80% on Steam, which is really bad because Bungie typically had way more console players than PC players. But for Marathon, it's the inverse. And yeah, Sony about to play some Sudoku after this Bungie purchase fallout? Yes, absolutely. It's really bad. Like a lot of the people that I looked up to that I love at Bungie who are super fucking awesome, very, skilled creatives, they're gone. They're not there anymore. Like Lars is gone. Joe Ziegler was the guy, but gone. Yeah, so LFQ, that Marathon spike yesterday is the one that I'm talking about. They just released a new feature and it only hit 14K. That's really bad. It was hovering around 5 to 6, exactly. And if that's 80% of the player base, we're like maybe 15K total. So worse than ESO for concurrency. And remember, guys, concurrency only fucking matters with a live service game. It's not important for anything other than a live service game. So if you look at like Mina the Hollower's concurrency, it doesn't matter because it's a single player game. And Mina the Hollower's on everything. It's probably sold more copies on Switch than anything else. To be fair to the RuneScape boss, why would he not set the bar that high? Yeah, no, you're right, Brightside. I agree with that. Imagine you went on an interview and said our sites are taking over Marathon spot. Yeah, I want to be the 6th, bro. 6th most popular MMORPG is like very generous comparing it to Marathon. Marathon's in like the top 180 games on Steam or something like that, which is really bad. That's not good at all. Especially, okay, so this is the other crazy thing. We've been talking about Marathon for a while. Marathon came out in March. We're only 4 months in. And it's what I said on stream. I think it's only got legs for like 3 months, and that's showing that it's true.
I would definitely say like there is maybe some not positive sides to that mindset too. Like you don't need to just be the biggest thing and grow unlimited all the time. Like that's not always the way to success. Like there's this really famous adage about how like if you have like a subscription based service, which is what we're talking about here, and like you're starting small and you got like a 2 or 3 man team or something like that, like to make a reasonable salary for yourself and your friends, like you just need like 1,000 monthly active users, like 2,000 monthly active users or something. Like we're talking about like numbers in the millions here to operate these like gigantic Fortune 500 level corporations almost, and it doesn't have to be that. Like, you know, there's a lot of examples of like really small studios and, you know, other tech companies that, you know, I can think of a lot of examples of like apps and stuff that have like completely blown up that have that sort of model, that where it's like those people became millionaires just on like apps that you probably never even heard of, just because like the numbers make sense. And so like, I don't know, you can probably make some pretty poor business decisions in the name of like, let's try to overtake World of Warcraft and like 10x our player base. Like maybe you're gonna do some things to your game that make your game suck and make people not like it anymore, and you know, that's not going to 10x your player base. And so I don't know, it's not that straightforward. I understand what you're saying though. It's like you don't want to like not have a positive mindset for your team or like set lofty goals and stuff like that, but it's just, you know, you don't have to be the biggest, and sometimes trying to be the biggest is maybe going to make you not exist anymore in some people's cases. So,
and to support this like line of discourse, the dude said specifically, quote, "The dream is not that we're number 2 biggest MMO brand in the world. We're number 1. There's a big gap between us and number 1, but if we get it right, we know we can make headway. It's lofty and ambitious, but if you're going to set lofty and ambitious goals, why not swing for the top?" So that's the number 1 goal. Fair enough. At least he seems.
It doesn't seem like a dumb statement, and you know, if anybody's positioned to do it, they're probably one of them.
Yeah.
So you know, I get it.
I think it's just a crazy thing to say, you know, publicly. But Brightside is making a good point. Why would you say we're going to shoot to be number 2, right? Like, and that's exactly what he said. Why would we shoot to be number 2? Let's try to be number 1. Yeah. Very cool. I think that it's going the right way, but I still think it's absurd to be like, hey man, you know, we got like 1% of WoW's user base, but we're going for WoW. Like, all right, buddy. So in what you're talking about, Tony, let's see. I want to see who. This might be more quotes from this guy. Yeah, okay. Setting the table for growth is not the same as expecting growth to come as a result of setting the table. You need to put something on the table to bring people in. We've set the table. We spent the last year not just removing the monetization layer, but overhauling so much of the clunkiness and the pain within the game. The guy who runs our RuneScape studio has been here for 13 years. He's been a RuneScape player for 20. The person calling the shots on how to bring this thing back to life was a player in its golden age. He's done a great job on getting the game into a healthy position. So less daily, less FOMO, less of the rubbish. All of that sounds great. That sounds like the right.
Sounds like they're doing the right shit.
And then he said, "I've been told very clearly not to give anything away, but on October 3rd at RuneFest, we'll be announcing our equivalent of putting a feast on the table to really actively win people back. That'll be happening much sooner than many people expect." So cool. Maybe good health for RuneScape. I don't care about RuneScape, so that's probably why I have a negative attitude about it. Adder says, "I'm surprised to see how many friends that hadn't been online for years been popping online into WoW recently. Interesting to see the resurgence." And then we were talking about World of Tanks a little bit. World of Tanks Heat. This is a brand new title, World of Tanks Heat. World of Tanks is still about 8K Steam players. More people use Wargaming's launcher, though. And then LFQ said, "I've had more people on my friends list play Destiny 2 than Marathon in the last 2 months." And I mean, he's not wrong. If you look at the Destiny 2 numbers, they're like 5x Marathon. And I do think a part of that is old players being like, you know what? This game is going to die very soon. I want to just go back one last time. That's probably what we're seeing. Yeah. And, you know, the population is like dropping at the same scale that Bungie's population, you know, normally does for concurrency, but it's significantly higher numbers for Destiny. What's up, Gil? How you doing? Artificial Sky says, "Helldivers prove people hate FOMO and marketing FOMO-free game will move units." Yes, absolutely. And Artificial Sky, I don't know if you were around when we were talking about Mortal Shell 2 in the physical editions, but Cold Symmetry hit like a perfect synchronicity moment of wanting to release a physical copy of their game and Sony saying we're not going to do discs anymore. And so they've sold out of all of the fucking every single physical disc edition of Mortal Shell is sold out like everywhere. So that's huge for them. That's really big for gamers too. So it sounds like, you know, I'm looking very, very much forward to Mortal Shell. So yeah, it's going to be fucking awesome. I'm very excited for Adder and his team. It seems like they're going to They're gonna be living, riding on the fucking high life or whatever the fuck for the next year or so, right? Having a great time. So I hope you guys come out the other end of that really well and that you work on something else that's super awesome. Physical media going well at the moment. Counter signal marketing doing big numbies. Yeah, exactly. Gil says, "Love the God rays." Those are not.
Oh, we're deleting those things.
Yeah,
I
those
was getting
are
like
not
12
exactly what we want.
FPS if you didn't notice, but
I'm glad you like him, Gil. That was just like a concept thing that we were going for. Lander says, so recently someone I know was talking about Mind's Eye and how big of a flop it was. Did I just completely miss that train wreck? We talked about it a little bit. I missed it too, Lander. But I remember
like the headline was like the studio was like so mad that they thought that like Mind's Eye was such a banger, and like
yeah,
it was like there was like a
subversion and
there was like a
and
conspiracy to like ruin their sales or something, and then they put like an expansion in it or something. I think everybody was just like, these clowns made a bad game, we're not going to pay attention to it. But I
don't know. Yeah, huge congratulations. I'm looking forward to what Cold Symmetry is going to do in the future. It's very cool. If you guys, are able to maintain the formula and like keep going on Mortal Shell with like more support to like really get wild. I mean, as you know, Adder, like we've been there. More resources doesn't necessarily always mean better game in the end. But I hope you guys can get to that point while maintaining that super strong core that got you this Mortal Shell release, Yeah, Shooty, did you get you a Mortal Shell 2 Revered Edition? For the old, you're not a PlayStation gamer, are you? I know you have a Concord PlayStation controller for the memes, but I don't think you have a PlayStation. He literally does too. He went and bought one just to show me.
Kind of remember this. Yeah.
He's like, "Yo, check it out, dude." I was like, "What the fuck, bro?" Bro doesn't even have a PS5, but he bought the controller because it's fucking awesome. Nope, no PS5. I think the plan is to keep the team at its current size for the foreseeable future. Yes, dude. Yes, that's fucking awesome, Adder. I love to hear that. That's very cool. Gil, what are you up to? It's been a minute, brother. I know you post some stuff in the Discord. Haven't had a chance to go check out. Fuck. What is your game called? Blast something?
It's definitely Blast something.
Blastotron. Let's see.
Showcase your work right now.
No, it's not showcase your work. Where was it? Game Together? General Fun? We got eggs in General Fun. Self promo. That was it. Blast Horizon. Sorry, Gil. Yes. Blast Horizon. So Gil made a shmup, and it looks like he's got it out on Steam. If you guys want to go check that out, we try to support each other here. So if you guys want to go check it out, looks like he's got the Steam page up. If you're into shmups, I'm sure Gil would love a wish list or something like that. Adder says we have a solid 15-person core and then 10-ish devs that are brought on as needed. It has been a great size for AA and D. Yeah, dude, that's perfect. Like you really don't want to get above 30. And that's like one of the things that is really difficult for people to understand when you're making a bigger game and get a bigger budget. I mean, shit. So, I could kind of segue into this. So Cliffy B has been in the game industry discourse recently because he did a big interview, talked about a bunch of like personal life struggles, like full, candid disclosure of what he believes were the problems that led to Boss Key getting shut down and all that other stuff. It was a very interesting read. Let me see if I can find this, and I'll post this article for you guys in the Discord here. So I gotta see who sent me this. Let me find this link really quick here. All right, cool. It's a level 80 article. And then I'm going to post this in General Fun. There you go. If you guys want to read it, it's very interesting. It's Cliffy B reflecting on his mistakes. And it turns out as recently as like March of this year, Cliffy B went to the hospital because he had a seizure from alcoholism. So I'm guessing he's saying I'm an alcoholic, and that's that's why I'm so weird and I'm trying to be healthy, and it was bad. So yeah, dude, I know a lot of people that said Lawbreakers was fucking awesome. And I played it just a smidge, and I didn't really get into it because I wasn't really into a hero shooter type of a thing. But I think that this interview is pretty interesting. Cliffy says that alcoholism and his ego were the reasons why like things fell apart. Like he had a chance to work with Rod Ferguson, founding Boss Key, and he says he blames his ego. He could not come to a compromise with Rod to be a co-founder. He was like, this is a Cliffy B joint. It's only me. And obviously when you do that, if it fucking fails, that's 100% on you. So that's what he was going for. Adder says, this looks sick, Tony.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're getting there, Adder. It's coming together.
We decided you guys maybe get to see stuff today, so this isn't going to happen all the time. But
yeah, we're not going to tell you guys what it is, but yeah.
I got some stuff I want to work on, and we're going to work on it. So
this is some stuff, but yeah, it's coming together. Bright side, talking about how are you guys doing on Dread? Well, this is how we're doing. Shoot, it said Anthem could have been great if it didn't suck. Yeah. Anthem had so many good things going for it that just didn't fucking work. So I remember being at Bungie at the time. My direct boss came from EA Edmonton. She had a bunch of friends that were working on Anthem. And I remember telling her that I was excited. I was like, oh, this game looks fucking sick. And she goes, nope. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, I know people working on it. It's been a death march and it's a fucking nightmare. It's probably going to be a flop out of the gate. And sure enough, she was right. It was bad.
So sad.
Yep. Anthem had so much potential. The encounters were what did it for me. That made me go like, this isn't fun. You leave the first area and you're like, oh, this is cool. I'm like an Iron Man. And you're like flying around shooting at shit.
And then it's not fun anymore.
And it's just soup. Yeah, you walk into an area and there's these mob closets where they're just like pouring out over and over again. And I was like, this is fucking stupid. Every encounter was like a big, omnidirectional big circle arena, and it was just wacky. It just didn't. They didn't make you use the kit they gave you. Yeah, LFQ, unironically, it is actually a pretty big fucking pivot from original scope, but we like what we're making, so we're going with it. Lead designer Redfall also worked on Anthem, and they were pretty open about the fact that Anthem had them seek a therapist. Yep. And then to ship Redfall right after the disaster of Anthem. Oh, dude. I feel for that person. It's really hard because, as you guys know, you've been here for a while. My personality doesn't mesh well with those types of leaders. So I could either keep my job as a lead designer, or I could be like, this is fucking stupid. Don't do this. We should do this instead. And leadership type people don't like that. And they don't want to get into a discussion about well, the publisher says we have to do this. So this is what we're doing. We would have those kinds of conversations behind closed doors, but and I should say, I'm not going to come out in a meeting and be like, this is fucking stupid. I'm not that, dense that's going to hurt people's feelings or cause a dispute or whatever. I would say it in a more diplomatic way of guys, I understand what we're going for here. But I think for this kind of game, we need to take this type of direction instead. We should build a feature like this. And that's still not nice enough. And then, I get a little talking to in a one-on-one after that of hey, this is what we got to do. And then I'm just like, well, this is fucking dumb. We're gonna make mistakes. They were going through it, and now they're at Ghost Story Games, which is its own shit show. Dude, I've never heard of Ghost Story Games. They almost went to Clown Chamber and Clown Chamber. Damn, dude. Cloud Chamber, and I begged them to reconsider. They chose Ghost Story. Some people just enjoy pain, I guess. I think that you have to be a big personality if you're trying to make waves in this industry. One of the lessons I got, from mentorship, Clown Chamber is a pretty fitting nickname. But yeah, through mentorship, there was this moment where I was talking to one of my mentors who was a creative director and has done a bunch of stuff. And This is like early in my games career, and he was like, one of the things that I try to teach my mentees is that if you're working in this business, you should always think about what your impact on the industry will be. How are you going to make a thing that changes how everyone else does stuff? And that really stuck with me because I think that's the most important way to look at making games. To some degree, Adder, you're doing it on your small team where you guys are like sticking to your fucking convictions and saying, we're going to make a game that we want to make in this way, not cave to like publishers' demands or anything like that, not, bend to your partners to make something that they think will be better when you hold the original vision. Like you got to stick to it and like really just take the risk and do something big and crazy and don't compromise. More importantly, we won't make money. Yeah, exactly. Ghost Story sounds like it's I don't know who that is. I think they're at restart 11 or 12 at this point with BioShock 4. Oh my god. Ooh. Dude, that would be painful. I think after restart 3, I would be looking for another job. I'd be like, I'm fucking getting out of here. Ghost Story is Levine Studio after Irrational shut down, basically just a legal rebrand. They haven't done anything other than lay their team off over 10 years or something. I mean, how does the dude keep getting money? Like, this is the crazy thing to me. I mean, I guess you just have the fucking conversation and you like glad hand your partners and they're like, yeah, you'll do the thing. I kind of feel like people should, in this industry, take the route of like Saab. Saab being the like Swedish auto manufacturer, they just made the best product. So bear with me here. Saab is not a success story. Saab is defunct. They went out of business. They couldn't make cars that people could buy without losing money. They lost money on almost every single one, but they stood behind their product and their brand and their recognition for like really good engineering, safety first, good performance and in economy, practicality. All of those things mattered for every vehicle that they made, which is why they didn't make a lot of different models with Saab. But they were purchased by like Ford to try to bail them out. And Ford was like, you need to make this kind of a car. You have to do that. And they're like, yeah, I got you. And then they just released the same shit. They did this for like 3 years before Ford shut them down entirely. So I think in the entertainment industry, we don't have the same kind of risks as building a car to sell to the consumer market. So taking those risks is far more important because when you hit the home run, it's undeniable. Like it's absolutely undeniable. You do the thing. Gamers want the thing. They buy it. You're wildly successful and you get to go again. Sweet Baby Ink Lady. I got it. I got you, Artificial Sky. He somehow talked Take-Two into funding them after they shut down Irrational. I don't know how he got shut down, then talked the same publisher into feeding him for another 10 years without anything to show. Dude's got the magic touch with PowerPoints, I guess. Yeah, real. Some people just have the talking powers to sell bullshit. I mean, I probably do too, but I don't know. I guess call it like a character flaw that I'm not going to really go that route. I just feel bad about it. I'd rather talk to you guys and like have the people who are actually going to buy our shit support us instead of talking to someone who's like, oh, I can get a what percent return? What percent can I get? Like, I don't
thinking about how sales is like convincing another person to like come to your side of things, like by like walking them to it and like making them think it themselves. And like, that's not your style necessarily.
No, but, not like, at all.
You get the same outcome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Peter Molyneux type shit. No, Gil, we're getting rid of those God rays, brother. We don't. They don't do what we want. Rip. They're not the right color temperature either. But yeah,
like
don't worry.
10 FPS too. They're real bad. So we'll figure something out. But it's not going to be those.
Yeah, it'll be good. Don't worry. Yeah. I mean, if you like the God rays, remember that we made those. So we'll make it good. Adder says Ghost Story announced Judas in 2022 after 6 years of development and haven't shown anything since. Fuck, dude. Oh boy.
Is it about Bible Judas?
Yeah, what is Bible Judas type shit? Okay, so let me see some of these other things that I was looking at here. Okay, cool. Okay, so that's RuneScape. I posted the fucking thing for you guys about Cliffy B interview. It's a lot. It's probably like a 10-minute read. So I don't want to go through the whole thing unless you guys really want me to, but I thought it was pretty interesting. I appreciate Cliffy B's candor. And he was saying that, his alcoholism and failure of Boss Key pulled him out of games for a while, but being sober and going to rehab and shit made him realize that being a creative was the most important thing to him in his life. And while he's had a bunch of, detours off the side, like, Tony nominated or some shit like that for like Broadway musicals that he's done and stand-up comedy and all that stuff.
Bro, I ain't nominated shit.
He said the thing that resonated with him the most is how much he missed making games, and he's cooking again. He's like, I've got ideas and there's shit I want to do. The thing that I think is really interesting about that statement is in the same interview, he ended up saying that when they did Lawbreakers and then followed it with Radical Heights, and he saw the writing on the wall, and so he was like trying desperately to get like another 40-50 million dollars to support his studio, and he was pitching other ideas, including I gotta find where this fucking thing here. I know how to do this. Dragonflies. Okay. At the same time, Blazinski was making the rounds, pitching other games, including one that had players riding dragons as samurai fighting zombies. It was for Blazinski the ultimate mashup. He called it Dragonflies. That's like some of the cringiest shit I've ever read. So the other thing that I think is really interesting here is he talks about how Lawbreakers, flopped really hard. And in reflection, the direct quote for him is, Lawbreakers tripped so that Concord could face plant. And like, that's a crazy shot at Concord and, Firewalk. So I don't know. I mean, Cliffy's had some success, but he's also had some like grand, glorious failure. So maybe he can, gather himself together and take another shot at it and make something cool. That's good because he got success so early that the second half of your life can otherwise be so dark. Exactly, Brightside. He had to battle with that protege title being on him, slowly taken away with each of his newer works. Yeah, that was what he said. His biggest problem was his arrogance and his ego. It really got in the way, and he was like, "This is a Cliffy B thing. That's it's all me all day. That's what I'm gonna do." And then he was like drinking a lot and not being in the studio and not grinding it out in the trenches with the rest of the team. And it's just, he said it was not any one thing in particular. It was just this combination of bad behaviors that he had where he wasn't really into the thing he was doing. And, he wasn't, it sounds to me like he wasn't into Radical Heights. That was sort of a desperation thing to save Boss Key, and Radical Heights bombed as well. So he had 2 back-to-back flops, and then his studio started closing and he was just like, fuck, this sucks. The line from that write-up told me that Cliffy B was coming around a little bit. Was, we were building Lawbreakers on my ego, and my ego wasn't going to sell copies. Yes, exactly, Adder. It seems like he's kind of figured his shit out. And I think, likely being hospitalized due to alcoholism and having a seizure, that wakes people up, man. That's when it becomes real that like your fucking around is like way too much, dude. It's way too much. Brightside says this distracted me. The NVIDIA CEO became the new leather bad boy. It's Jensen Wong wearing leather now?
Yep. He always wears a leather jacket.
Yep. I literally just Googled Jensen Wong leather, and there's like...
I don't know if you can find a picture of him not in a leather jacket anymore, honestly.
Dude, this one's like gator skin, dude. This is sick, bro. He's so cool. He's such a cool bad boy. He's got motorcycle jackets too. Does he even ride motorcycles? Whatever.
Net worth 176 billion as of July 21st.
Yeah, but what's his like? That I think that's the weird thing because net worth is like intangible. But yeah. How much do you think he actually has? Hundreds of millions?
I mean, he is like one of the main shareholders of NVIDIA, and NVIDIA is like mostly company-owned company before they went public and stuff. So like, dude probably has a ton of money unless he like reinvested or something.
Bro, he's got white gator boots. Fuck yeah, dude. All right. I'm hating, but I'm not hating. He's vibing. What's up, Lewisoft? Welcome. $1 million charity. That's like, you know, 5 fucking 10,000ths of his total net worth. Yeah.
He doesn't seem like a very fun guy. Like he talks about how he like works till 11 p.m. on Sunday night and stuff like that, and that's just like how he wants it to be. And I don't know.
So, okay, I have to throw this out there. Despite the fact that he's super wealthy, I don't think he's obligated to donate anything to charity. So the fact that he gives $1 million to charity, I think is cool. You know, it's a good thing. Probably a controversial take. I'm not anti-capitalist, but yeah. When Adder just starts wearing nothing but leather, we know Mortal Shell killed it. Bright side, he's already wearing nothing but leather. He walked into Activision HQ while I was visiting for meetings, and he was wearing white gator skin boots, and my jaw was on the floor. Yo, dude, that's sick, bro. I've had some very fancy leather shoes in my time. I think they were Aldo or something like that. They were fucking dope. Adder would forego food for more car things, I think, though. Yes, very true, Tony. Yeah, that'll be the sign. He's not going to be in leather. He's going to be like casual clothing is going to be very expensive, like racing gear, and he'll have way too many cars. Won't be able to drive them all. Thing that I remember about him the most is that he said you, or at least the engineers at his company, should spend at least $250K in AI tokens. I mean, yeah, that's a little crazy, Lewisoft.
I think they've all walked that back at this point, but that is a crazy statement for sure.
Speaking of AI, this OpenAI model fucking broke out of a test, and like this is yesterday, and like hacked Hugging Face, which is an open source AI model, I think. I'm not super big on that stuff, Tony, so I don't know how it goes. So I probably
Hugging Face is like GitHub for AI models.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this thing had constraints on it to not do what it did, and it totally like hid all of its actions, and Hugging Face realized that they had been compromised, and then they realized it was by like a rogue AI agent, and then OpenAI started investigating their own shit, and then they were both like, yo, what the fuck is this? So the AI broke containment. That's kind of alarming. You know, for many reasons. I'm not like scared of the AI, but like it's interesting. It's leveling up. Gotta go. Good luck. Have fun. Yeah, take it easy, Gil.
Peace out.
I'll likely just buy 100 pairs of black classic Vans and black heavyweight Hanes t-shirts and then car parts. Yeah. Going with
I buy these BC Surf and Sport branded like cotton t-shirts that are really nice, and like fucking Fall Raven pants. I just wear that every day.
Yeah, the shirt that I'm wearing is one of the few shirts I've bought in the last 20 years because it was, you know, Bandamere 65 years for a racetrack. But yeah, I don't buy shirts. They're all video game shirts.
20 packs of Puma socks from Costco.
Yeah.
The rest of my life.
Those are amazing. Yep. Big Fjall Raven fan. Yeah, me too. I've got a couple pairs. Really nice stuff.
Vince was like, you got to get this stuff. It's so high quality. And
yeah,
I immediately was like, okay, I believe you. And
I thought it was
like, if I get the bag, I will just like every day I'll have a new pair of pants to wear.
Yeah, I thought it was a little silly at first, but nah, I kind of live in the Fjall Raven stuff. The bags are top shelf. Or do you have like the Kankel or whatever the fuck it's called? The little tiny little schoolboy backpack at her?
Kanken?
Yeah, whatever. Some kind of Swedish shit.
The fucking Kankel.
Yeah, dude, the Kankel, bro.
Thank you, LFQ. We don't have buttons on our keyboard.
And as Americans, we say Fjall Raven, not like Fjallraven or whatever the fuck it is. We don't say it the right way. That's hard for us.
If you heard my mom say it, she's just gonna say Fall Raven. So.
Yeah, Fall Raven is the norm.
Yep.
I at least say y'all. Fjall Raven.
Yeah, I try to get a little bit of the fucking Norwegian stank on there, you know.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Cliffy B did his whole thing. Very interesting interview. We were talking about marathon a little bit. Joe Ziegler fucking left. Del Chaffee, I can't remember how he pronounces his name. But Dell's now in charge with Julian Narden. I think this is a bad way to go. So Marathon's on its last legs for sure. Let's see. What are the other things I got going here? Call of Duty movie. All right. Call of Duty movie will take place in the Modern Warfare universe. Paramount's film is set for release in summer 2028. Film director is Peter Berg.
I saw a discussion how it is maybe silly that they decided to do Modern Warfare over Black Ops, because Black Ops is definitely kind of silly and creative and has like some stuff going on that they could probably adapt into something kind of cool. And Modern Warfare is just going to be like fairly generic military type stuff.
LFQ, when you say more E, do you mean like English E or do you mean E like A? So is it like Fjellreven? That's what I'm not sure about. Del the Chafee Homo sapien? Yeah, exactly. Brightside said A looks good, Tony.
Thanks, dog.
There you go. Okay, so yeah, it won't be Black Ops or World War II. It's gonna be Modern Warfare. I think you're right a little bit there, Tony, saying that it's weird that it's not Black Ops, because Black Ops is definitely like the more cinematic version. Oh, I'm pretty close. All right, thank you, LFQ. I mean, I'm trying, but it's easier for me to just do the American accent because then I just sound weird as fuck. Like, especially talking to other Americans that say Fall Raven. If you go like Fjellreven, then they're like, what? They don't know what you're talking about. So I got to be like Fall Raven, Fjellraven, and that works. Let's see. It was later confirmed that Berg, whose previous writer-director credits include Very Bad Things, Friday Night Lights, Lone Survivor, and Patriots Day, will be co-writing, co-producing, and directing the film. I mean, it could be good. Joining Berg on co-writing and co-producing duties is Taylor Sheridan. Okay, I'm in now. I'm very in. I love Taylor Sheridan.
Vince is in.
Yeah, dude. Taylor Sheridan's fucking great, guys. Like, I know everyone goes, "Oh, you like Yellowstone? That's boomer shit." Landman is also really good.
So good.
Mayor of Kingstown is pretty good. And then I know Tony's a big fan of Sons of Anarchy. And then I've been watching Lioness.
He's just an actor in Sons of Anarchy. He didn't write it, but
yeah. Lioness is really, really good. And what I was skeptical at first because it stars Zoe Saldana and they're like CIA, what do they call them? They're not agents, officers, like CIA officers and like Delta Force and shit like that. And I'm like, typically when they have women in these roles, they're going to do superhero shit. And it's going to be like, demure, thin woman doing backflips and kicking a guy across a room. None of that. It's like pretty fucking realistic, which I appreciate a lot. So it's very grounded. And it's good. And it shows like women in strong roles, lead roles, can do that well without it being some really weird thing. So I think Lioness is great, especially if you like, strong female characters. Lioness is fucking awesome.
Dude, Adder, what the guy you doing right now? I feel like you've been pretty quiet. So
yeah, he's been busy. Dude, he's been busy. He closing is fucking wild. Like, that's when you crazy. Know the end is in sight, you're cranking through as much as you can to ship the best product. So yeah, no, you're good at her. It was going to be Black Ops, and then that got canceled. Then they succeeded with a new pitch, and the director was fired, and the current version is pitch number 3. Interesting. Yeah, he's talking about the COD movie.
Better be careful with that, buddy.
Yeah, careful. I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to read that out loud. I'm super busy making this thing bulletproof. Yeah, exactly. There's weird times in like dev cycles where like in the beginning, there's a lot of work to do to get things stood up. The middle, I refer to as like kind of the doldrums, because you know what you're building and you're building content and you're filling out the game and you're play testing and getting it there. And then when you're like, okay, the picture's almost there. You've got like 15% work left to ship the game, but that can be the hardest time because you're, squashing bugs, making sure everything is, like Adder said, bulletproof. And that is a lot of fucking work. And it's basically never ending, but you have to do as much as you can before that date looms. Fix the biggest problems, and then you just keep going. You do the smaller ones, and there's thousands of them. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff to do. I'm in the consequences of my past actions phase, but can't refactor. Yeah, totally. Got my hand one button to the left on the keyboard. There you go, LFQ. Yeah. So I'm a lot more. I'm coming around now that I know it's Taylor Sheridan on the COD movie. So that could be cool. Speaking of movies, I'm gonna go see Odyssey after stream. So I'll let you guys know tomorrow what I thought of it. I've heard mixed things. I've heard some people say it was great. I've heard some people say it's a fine movie. And then, of course, you have the culture war discourse saying this movie's stupid and I can't believe they did all that and whatever. Tony and I were talking before stream, and the interesting thing, you know what he's doing with the other hand. The interesting thing about just the Odyssey is that, guys, it's elective. You literally don't have to go see it. So that's the thing that I don't get about the culture war is like, if you fucking hate this movie so much, we live in a time when it's never been easier to make your own movie. Go make the movie you want. Put that shit up against the Odyssey. See if you can do better than Chris Nolan, Go do that. Stop complaining on Twitter. And I'm not talking to you guys. I know you guys aren't complaining on Twitter. I guess I'm just speaking to humanity, right? We have a big tester pool playing the game, and they're finding hardware and build specific bugs that I'm eating fixes into the build blindly. Yeah, dude, that's so fucking rough, Adder. I remember those days. My favorite part was when someone was like, hey, this thing like has a fucking 3% repro bug for this specific hardware configuration. How do you want to fix that? And I'm like, hey, producer, can we punt this? No fix. And they're like, yep. I'm like, all right, good. Is it game breaking? No. Does it soft lock? No. Is it an inconvenience and make it look kind of like sloppy for that 3% of players? Sure. That's probably acceptable, misses. The other hand is on the right side of the keyboard. Okay. All right. Whatever you say, LFQ. Precisely. It's been super helpful in bug troubleshooting while I fix other bugs, though. Yeah, we're going to get to a time where it'll be like, I don't know, everything's so much faster. Like, guys, I think last week Tony showed you the visual, or was that? Yeah, it was last week. You showed the visualizer for the neighborhood editor.
Yeah, I can pull that back up here in a sec.
You don't have to. Keep doing what you're doing. But the thing that I thought was really interesting about it, and I was talking to Tony about it this week, in my experience, that type of shit would have never been made. It would have never been made. The tool can be a little awkward to use, but it works and it does everything you need. Absolutely zero approval to make it a better UX. It would just never happen that way. And Tony was like, yeah, I mean, honestly, I would have told you, no, I'm not going to do anything about this. But because of AI, he's like, I cranked this feature out in probably like 2 hours.
Yeah, we were talking about it, and I was just trying to estimate, like, okay, if I wanted to like sit down and actually build this and like put it against all of the stuff that we made, like probably like 2 working days, like start to finish, just like head down grinding. I could probably put this together myself. I'm not super familiar with Slate. That would probably slow me down a little bit, but yeah, it was one prompt, one time. Probably took 15 minutes for like the first iteration, and then I like tested it out for like maybe an hour and adjusted a few things. But it's a great tool and it's very useful. But like, yeah, we were talking about it and doing the math, and it probably still would not have made sense on paper before, even if it was like extremely helpful. Yep. And it's just like, I don't know, we're at a point where like even kind of like maybe a silly idea can just kind of be like, well, let's try it and see if it works. And if it doesn't, like we lost like 30 minutes and it's whatever, let's move on with our today. And then we know the answer too. We learned something. So
yeah, and AI just made it all possible. Like this would have been, like the conversation would have been a non-starter. I wouldn't have even brought it up to Tony. And in fairness, I was tuning some things in the neighborhood last week, and I was just like, I got to take a break, like going through all these nested menus. It's a lot to like keep track of in your head, and it's just tiring. And Tony was like, let me see if I can improve that. Over the weekend, improved it and added this entire GUI layer, and it's fucking awesome. It's really, really easy to like offload your mental processing power because you can just see the fucking picture right there. You don't have to necessarily keep the fields as straight anymore, or it's like easier to correlate in your brain. I don't know. It's cool. We're in a bright future, I guess.
There's been a couple of different times over the past couple of weeks where I've just like kind of busted out like a little app for like myself or somebody just to do something that they were talking about wanting to do. Like our one friend has like a night where he plays Halo with his friends every week, and he said people were complaining that it felt like their teams weren't fair, and he wanted some way to like mathematically make the teams fair. And so I built in this thing that'll like scrape all of their accounts off of Xbox Live and pull all of their Halo stats and like build them this like ladder and like thing that will like help keep their teams fair. And he tried it out last night and he said it worked great. I don't think Turning Cog's here, but he was complaining to me about not liking certain things about PureRef and kind of wanting PureRef to work more like Miro, but not wanting to like use an online tool like Miro. And so like we built this mind map thing, and I've actually started using it recently too. But it's like PureRef and Miro mashed together, and it like runs locally on your system. It's auto updating right now because I push new changes to it. But you can like link the nodes together, drag them around just like PureRef. You can embed YouTube videos and web pages in here. That was another thing that he like has asked me to add for him over time, but it's just he's been hitting me with requests, and like you saw, I built like an auto updating system into it. So whenever I push a change, it just updates for him automatically, and I'll give this to any of you guys if you want it to. But just it's kind of getting to a point where it's like I'm not going to go out and like pay for a SaaS product and use somebody's like rigid tool that doesn't do exactly what I want to anymore. Like the original iteration of this was like me and Cog hanging out in Discord for like an hour, and we had this working. And then like he's hit me with like 2 or 3 suggestions since then, just like in a text message, and I've just like shot it over to Claude and walked away and been like, it'll be available in a few minutes, man. Like, here you go.
Very cool.
He was showing it to me on a screen share the other night, and we talked about it for like 20 minutes. And he's like, "Yeah, it's so cool that you built this." And I was like, "Dude, we've been staring at this, and I like totally forgot that I built this. I thought you were using like PureRef or something."
Amazing.
So,
Adder's talking about the bugs that he's been troubleshooting. Last night or yesterday, his bug was if I run through this portal, then back out 20 times backwards, then stop and change graphics settings, lighting no longer updates. Yeah, those are the kinds of bugs that you work on when you're closing. It's fucking annoying, but yeah, it'll make the game better in the end. You're not gonna be able to fix them all, but yeah, you got a month, bro.
does it have to be 20 times?
I'm
like 20 times
like,
is like you're like hitting like a memory overflow or something. I would imagine if it like stops after 20 times. I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah, my guess is that he discovered it was 20 times.
Yeah.
Or like someone in QA. He goes,
memory issue. Boom.
There you go. LFQ says, "Ooh, a troll turning cog app." I mean, yeah, I don't think we need an app for that.
But like it's just like one of those things. Like Vince and I have also kind of talked about like some version of Miro that is like connected to all of the stuff that we do and can like kind of like build us boards and visual ideas and stuff that kind of like source all the shit that we talk about all the time. And like that's what that's going to turn into over time as well. So it's just we're really getting to a point where all of the things that we've been talking about building since 2018 are fairly easy to build and are starting to happen, which is cool.
Yeah, it's very awesome. So yeah, like there's it's essentially just Tony and I, but there are other team members that contribute here and there. So the fact that like it's just the two of us, AI tools make it so that we can do so much more.
And zero AI art. You'll see. Yeah. Like, we never talk about art because we don't generate art.
No,
we're not doing that.
Well, to clarify, I do for concept stuff, but I think we're like well past that phase and everybody understands the vision and like what we're building. So I haven't really needed to do concept art for a while.
I would say more like we would not ship something that was generated that
like a 3D model.
Like there's maybe going to be a generated thing somewhere in something that it will be part of like a high effort piece of artwork every time.
Yeah, totally.
Like, that would be the statement I would probably be pretty comfortable with. So
Adder says I've been wanting a better TLD raw.
TL draw, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
So I haven't used that in a long time. Do you still use that? Is it like just that big canvas thing and you can kind of like use AI with it a little bit? And I think it kind of works like the thing I was showing. One of the big things that we were looking for too was just like totally like offline, completely locally hosted. That was something COG asked me for. So like as you put stuff into that mind map, it's creating a local copy of each image and stuff so that even if your computer wasn't connected to the internet, it would still work. And it pushed all of it into like a source control system and sync it to somebody else.
Sweet. Okay, so Call of Duty. Okay, what was this? And then Tony posted a tweet of Call of Duty movie director Peter Berg once said people who play war video games are pathetic and weak. Pathetic keyboard courage, can't stand it. Anyone that sits around playing video games for hours is weak. Get out.
Another one of these.
Nice bangers. Hate the gamers, dude. Don't hate the game, hate the gamers.
Put the guy in charge of the movie who, I'm going to make my own interpretation of it.
Just absolutely fucking hates the audience. Yeah, it's pretty decent. It's freeware web-based Miro with more of an emphasis on being a whiteboard. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I haven't used that.
I remember it getting popular, especially early when AI was popping off, because you could do stuff like sketch out like a real rough layout of an app or something and then say like code this for me, and it would spit out the React code, and it did a pretty good job. But it never felt like it really evolved past that, and then a bunch of other tools came out.
Yeah, I think this tweet is a bit silly, if not baiting people to get mad at the Call of Duty movie, but it is what it is. I'm gonna go see the Odyssey, so we'll see. Hopefully it's good. Okay, so I saw this one I wanted to read, and this is about, bro, what is this? What the fuck happened to this tab? Delete group. Why did you do that? That was weird. Okay, here we go. All right. Xbox executive. Who said this? Give me the name. Give me the fucking name. Anyway, an Xbox executive says, we are committed to making this clearer. It's not obvious to players which games will be exclusive on Xbox. They're still deciding whether some upcoming games will be multi-platform. After announcing 2.5 years ago that it would be making its first-party games multi-platform, Xbox pivoted last month and stated that some of its games will be console exclusives, including Gears E-Day and Clockwork Revolution. There's been some confusion since then among certain players who aren't sure what this means for console exclusivity in Xbox games going forward. General message has been that live service and multiplayer games will remain multi-platform, but Gears of War E-Day being console exclusive appears to contradict this rule. Matt Booty, that's who did this, and Chief Strategy Officer Matthew Ball. So these guys gave the interview to Games Radar. They were suggesting large live service titles will likely be multi-platform going forward, but that this didn't mean single-player games would all be console exclusive. All right, so they're like, we don't know yet. Nothing is carved in stone. We're figuring it out. All right, so kind of like a not really information type of a thing. What was this other thing that I said? Oh, okay. And then adjacent to this comment, I guess Matt Booty also said, gamers are too obsessed with single player games, with a community note that said, fans should not overly fixate on single player games becoming console exclusives specifically, because it certainly isn't carved in stone. So the quote was taken out of context. He's saying that fans should not fixate on single player games being the only exclusives. We don't know yet. So that's mostly the point. What's up, Vib? How you doing? Still cracks me up that they gave Brian Fargo money to make a steampunk RPG. I don't know anything about that. Who's Brian Fargo and what's the steampunk RPG? It's weird he doesn't pitch his projects to his family, quite literally the Wells Fargo bank founders. That is crazy. Yeah, you should. I've heard that you should be pitching your friends and family first, because if they won't support you,
some investors won't invest in you if your friends and family haven't already invested in you. It's
exactly.
Like, some have a rule. Yeah.
Okay, so then we talked about Cliffy B. Okay, so this is somewhat interesting. We can talk about big evil Nintendo Corpo. Nintendo says it shouldn't have to pay back players if it gets tariff refunds from the U.S. government. What's up, Jeremy? How you doing, brother?
Read that other headline that I put about that a little farther down. I think that one's worded a little better.
Yeah, I agree with you. Okay, so the other headline is Nintendo says users voluntarily paid higher prices and have no right to tariff refunds. This sounds anti-consumer, but let's be real here, guys. Like, governments got involved, and because of the governments being involved, the producer of a good had to offload the cost of the consumer. Period. That's the end of the statement. You didn't have to buy a Switch 2. And a lot of this is happening in this, this discourse is occurring because there are two Americans that are suing Nintendo because they bought the tariff, price inflated Switch 2 and they want the money back. And it's like, why do you guys think you're entitled to get the money
We're
back?
talking about $50, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. But also, like, the crazy thing is, like, you literally could just wait. You didn't need to buy it. Like, yep. That's the weird thing for me about all of this is, like, you don't have to buy a thing. If it's not a good fucking value for you, don't buy it.
Period. I was reading that they're trying to argue this precedent that, like, some American companies are refunding their customers the tariffs, but there's, like, this distinction that those companies basically paid the tariffs on behalf of their customers, and it's generally like FedEx, where, like, somebody was, like, shipping something overseas into the United States that was affected by a tariff, and so, like, the person had to pay, nice round number, $100 tariff. They give FedEx $100. FedEx then gives the government $100. When the government refunds everybody's tariffs, they gave FedEx like $1 billion because FedEx was paying everybody's tariffs during that time. And then FedEx was legally obligated to give that money back to their customers because they were just kind of middlemaning it. With Nintendo, it's like they shipped in a shipping container full of Switches and they had to pay a tariff on every single one. And then they gave them to Target and sold them, and the retail price went up by $50. And capitalism.
Yeah, it was
you're a consumer. You can buy it or you can not buy it. Nobody forced you to buy it. I don't think you have, like, a lot of legal standing to say, like, I don't know what they want. They want $50. Like, that's what I don't get. Like,
it's a crazy waste of time and effort. Like, that's what I don't understand about it. That's what's frustrating. Yeah, and we're not anti-consumer, guys. That's not
at all.
We're just, like, realistic about it. Like, it doesn't make any sense. You chose to buy the more expensive thing. Like, that's it. You made that choice. I want a tariff refunded on my gas. All right, Artificial Sky. Good luck,
like,
bro.
Groceries or anything, like power bill.
Yeah, exactly, LFQ. They bought something with a price tag. They paid the cost of what it was. I just don't know why we do this. I wish we would stop doing this, like, weird performative shit and be like, corporation evil, I'm going to sue them. Brian Fargo's the founder and president of OG Interplay that famously turned down the pitch for Orcs and Humans and told Morheim to kick rocks. That's Mike Morheim of Blizzard. He parted out Interplay in the 90s, but as part of the deal, was stuck in a long non-compete. So he spun up In Exile in his garage. Interesting. I mean, is Fargo successful with his, like, foray into the game industry? Like, how does this work? Or is he just benefiting from having a wealthy family so he can do whatever he wants? Kind of like the whole mixtape thing, Is that the situation we're talking about here? I do also think the mixtape situation is very weird. I don't know why people support that game. It's not a game. You could argue it's art, but I don't fucking get it. I won't be playing mixtape. If I want the 90s lifestyle nostalgia bait and remember what it was like growing up, I'll just go watch Jonah Hill's 90s movie, which is great.
If I want to play a game where I occasionally press buttons and it tries to tell me a mid-story, I'll play Dying Light too.
There you go. So yeah, obviously, when we're talking about this Nintendo tariff situation, it's impossible to avoid anyone reporting on the situation talking about the current presidential administration. So that's what I find irritating about the discourse is, like, it's centering around a person. It's not even a genuine conversation, which I think is why Tony and I are saying, like, guys, you just didn't have to buy it. Like, don't try to make it something bigger than it is. And like Tony said, what do they even fucking want? They want $50. Like, why are you suing a, global corporation for $50? Fargo's been making middle tier B grade games for like 40 years, kind of like the Asylum for film. What's the Asylum, bro? Independent film company known for low budget films and mockbusters with over 400 titles, including the viral Sharknado. Okay, there we go. All right, I see what you're saying. So he's making like Sharknado of games. Breaking even is a good day for Fargo. I just don't understand why he's doing it. Maybe he just likes the process, which is crazy and like masochistic. The process is the worst part about making games. The Asylum is a very fun rabbit hole. Tony's been going G wild. I like it.
Going G wild.
Have you reached your max? I wish. Sounds amazing. Yeah, I used my $100 Fable credit on Opus 4.8 in 2 days, and my weekly limit isn't up until tomorrow, so I literally can't use Claude right now. I mean, what can you do without Claude, though? There's plenty of shit you can do without Claude, Pineapple. You should focus on that. Make your game fun.
Last week before I got upgraded, I would just like work on Dread a lot when my limits were up, because there's a lot of stuff I have to do on Dread that I can't use AI for. Just like the stuff you're seeing me do right now, just like little testing and adjust things and move stuff around and visual stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm working on trying to figure out a way to like tell my system like meter yourself out appropriately and make sure we don't run out. But like let's also use as much as we can. I think that's like kind of the new goal.
Pineapple, I'm harping on you about like make your game fun, because I see my only window to like what you're working on is what you choose to tell us. And so I see you often talking about AI and other side projects and all kinds of other shit. And like Pull My Finger should be a game that you could crank out real fast and just get that good, ship it, set it to early access, start making, $10 a pop for your game, whatever. And you'll be squared away, right? Like, I could just chillax because I leave for Hawaii soon. Yeah, and so yeah, I'm just basing it off of your communication. In the community Discord, you're talking about using AI and side projects and all kinds of other things. You're not like focused on Pull My Finger, but I think if you did focus on that and that was the only thing occupying your attention, you'd finish the game really fast. So just head down, grind it out. A morning without Claude limit is a wasted morning. I don't know, bro. Yeah, we know that you can do plenty of stuff without AI. Like I feel like Tony turned you on to AI. So, go back, lean on your old skills, man. Make the AI, when you use it, make you more powerful, not like more, not convenient, where you're like, well, I'm not, I'm just going to have the AI do this instead, when you can do the job yourself. Sorry, Jeremy. I just read your message up there. I keep up with too many fluctuating markets for that to make sense. Like Magic the Gathering, you pay what it costs when you bought. Yeah, exactly, Jeremy. That's what I'm trying to say. Dude, MTG is crazy. Artificial Sky says mixtape is the exclusive result of Hollywood reject theater kids trying to make their unique vision reality. So the senpai will finally notice them welcome into the Hollywood fold. It's sad and pathetic. AI is a productivity booster, not a productivity replacement. Exactly, Adder. Yes. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, Artificial Sky, I wouldn't use such harsh language personally. What's up, Queen Anne? Did you play Yoshi yet? I wouldn't use those words myself. I'm not trying to edit your speech. Feel free to express yourself however you want. But I don't necessarily disagree. I do think mixtape is like playing at art, if that makes sense. Trying to innovate and do something interesting. It's an important game. We do need games like that to be made, but calling it like a plucky indie is obviously disingenuous for many reasons. That I think is where I take issue about it, is like, it's not a plucky indie. It's very highly funded. There were skilled people that worked on it. It was promoted to, promoted by wealth and all of that. So that's why it got visibility. That's why people were talking about it. It got reviews because they probably paid the people to review it. So that's it. I would press F to spit. Damn, bro. Vincent Queen Anne, a series of Did You Play X Yet? Exactly. I still have a Switch 2. Oh no. Well, I beat, I beat it, but like when you complete kind of the main objective, you get 4 new levels, and every level has like 6 to 8 sub levels. So there's so much in there. It's a very good game still. I'm enjoying it a lot. Yeah, Tony's gonna come over on Friday, so Tony will get to play some Star Fox. That'll be fun. Yeah, Queen Anne, I don't blame you for not having a Switch 2 yet. The only reason we got it is because my wife was looking for a game to play, and I was like, I really think you'd like Pokopia. And she put probably like 100 hours plus into it. So it was worth it. And then, of course, she hasn't really played it since then. So I just grabbed a couple games for the Switch 2, and now I'm playing Star Fox and Yoshi. My wife.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. I kind of ripped through a bunch of the news that we had stocked up, so I'm going to see if there's anything else that I've got here for you guys. Let's see. Okay, how about this? 21 video game Lego sets are retiring this month, including Pac-Man, the Zelda Deku Tree, and Mario and Yoshi. All right, so if you want to get those Lego sets, you got to get them soon, guys. Yes, it is all FOMO. We have FOMO. For those of you who are like, "What are you talking about?" It's fear of missing out, which is a social leverage psychological device that product manufacturers use to compel a consumer to purchase something, because they're like, "You may not be able to buy this ever again," and so people are like, "Well, shit, I got to get it before I can't," and that can be a huge motivator for an individual to spend money. So they do it on purpose. It's by design. They don't need to make it a FOMO situation, but they choose to.
Yeah, I have that one right there that Vince gave me as a gift. That's kind of the only reason I have it. I like it a lot. It looks nice, but just I have a hard time, especially for the prices that they charge. It feels bad.
Yeah. And for me, like, I haven't played with Legos in decades. But
and something like that, like I want to put that together and just put it on a shelf, and that also kind of feels bad.
Yeah, totally. It's like a modeling kit that's like super easy.
But it's Legos. Like it doesn't look as good as it could look if you had a real model kit. Like I just don't get it. Yeah.
Like if you're doing like what's the fucking Gundam shit? Gunpla.
Those are so sick, and like I don't feel bad about that at all. The experience is putting it together and then having like a cool thing. Like I don't know.
Or like
Lego's
40K
trying to do
minis.
that, but it's Lego. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. So yeah, I don't buy those kits for myself. The whole reason I bought that for Tony is because we were talking about Lego, and I was like, I kind of want to get him this. I think he would.
And
like
my
it.
wife really likes Lego. There's a lot of Lego in my house, but none of it is mine. So,
let's see. More bricks and minifigs conversation popping up, but I don't really know a lot about it. I don't really care. Like there's too much outrage on the internet. There's too many things to get upset about that have zero bearing on my life. And I think bricks and minifigs is like very much on the like far edge of that, where I'm just like, yeah, it sucks for that guy. It's cool that he got awareness and there's conversations about it, but like life is crazy. Human beings are wild and do insane shit to each other. So it is what it is. I'm not going to get upset about bricks and minifigs or be like performative with my purchasing or anything like that. It doesn't affect my life. But that doesn't mean that you guys can't get upset about it. Feel free, like get wild, talk about it. You guys can have different opinions. It's totally fine.
So you guys are talking about Gunpla. There's a store in Tokyo called the Gundam Hangar, and it's like the size of Walmart, and it only sells Gundam models basically, and it's just like a showroom of like they probably have like 2,000 or 3,000 different models, and you can buy them, and you just see people walking out of there like this with these like giant bundles of boxes and stuff. But when I went there on my honeymoon, I was too poor to buy anything, and I've always said when we go back, like probably bring a suitcase just to fill up with those models and bring back with me.
Queen Anne says, I've been seeing a lot of Lego ads for sets recently. Adder says Lego's been shifting to collector stuff, which is unfortunate, but I'm sure it curbs a lot of their previous revenue issues. Yeah, the problem, like the weird thing about the collector's sets for Lego is their markup is like insanely high. So you could buy like the Cathedral at Notre Dame in a Lego set, like masterpiece collection thing, and it's like 1,000-piece set or whatever, and it costs like $500 fucking. That's what gets me. I'm just like, bro, it's just the cathedral in Notre Dame.
And they will discontinue it, and somebody will sell it put together for more than the retail price. You don't even get to put it together.
Yep. Jeremy G says, I can never get into Legos, but I also have way too much cardboard crack and D&D books and figurines. So, I mean, Jerma, I think that's a better way to go, though. Like, you're investing in things that make you happy is totally cool. I feel like investing in Lego collections is very hollow, because once you complete it, you're like, well, that's done. What do I do with it now? And I'm saying this to someone who has a lot of Legos. Most of mine, actually all of mine, came from when I was a kid. So I still have them all, and I keep them, and they're very fun and cool to, like, have and think about, and I guess like look at, but I don't even use them for that anymore. Last time I played with those Legos, I was playing a tabletop strategy game called Mobile Frame Zero, which is like, you make little mechs and you fight like Warhammer. Master grade Gunpla stuff is so cool. So time consuming. I haven't gotten into it. Cars got me too busy. I mean, Adder, I think Cars is like expert level Gunpla. I really do. I think it's like, you get into Legos, you get into building models, you do all that stuff, and then you're like, but that's kind of the end of it. But with a car, you can always do stuff, and you can play with the thing, in a way that you can't with like a model that you've built. So I think it's super cool. I'm very tempted to kit bash PG Zaku into Golf. I don't know enough about Gundam. I know that's Gundam because I know Zaku. Gunpla plus Cars equals Transformers. I mean, that seems like a huge waste of time just because of the engineering required to make a car transform. I think the most practical application of that is like the Hoonigan shit with like the Bradaroo and like the Active Arrow and stuff that you see, being used in cars now. I think that's really cool. I mean, we're kind of getting there, but like material science and physics still has limitations on making like a car transform into something else and function well at both things, right?
And more moving parts is bad in engineering generally, right?
Yep. More points of failure.
Yep.
LFQ says Gesundheit. Good manners. I like that. I appreciate it. To you, it seems. What do you mean, Pineapple? You want to make a Transformer car? I mean, go for it. I still think it's a huge waste of time. Like, okay, doing something just to be like, I could do this is I see that as like step one. Doing something to provide value or inspire someone else is step like 4 down that road. And when you start making really cool shit that other people like, that matters. Then you're like, you have an impact. You're affecting humanity and the way people think about things. That I think is really cool. So if you make the Transformer and the Transformer changes the way everyone builds machines, yeah, man, do that. But if you're like making a Transformer that sucks as a car and like can't walk around and do walk around robot shit, like, I don't know. That seems like a huge waste of time. Who wouldn't buy a Transformer car? Me. I think a lot of people would not buy a Transformer car. But I think the thing that you're imagining is like, from the Michael Bay movies, Jazz is a 911, Porsche, like that's a very different thing. And we're not anywhere near that. Also, like, Transformers are impossible. They're non-Euclidean. Like, they physically change shape. Mass is like lost, and like pieces slide arbitrarily into space that doesn't exist. So that's what I'm saying. So like, Transformers are cool. I like them, but they just don't work. They won't work in reality. There's plenty of people who've tried to like build transforming machines, and like one of the biggest I guess it's like a problem that human beings keep trying to solve over and over again, is a car that can be a boat. There are exactly 0 cars that are boats that are good at being a car and good at being a boat. It's just better to just have a fucking boat and have a car. Like, yeah, there are engineering and physical constraints that you have to compromise on to make a thing do both, and it ends up being bad at either one thing. It can like technically do both, but they're not great. Koenigsegg Jesko Absolute as a transformer. I mean, it would not be a Koenigsegg Jesko. It just would not. It would be really bad at being a Koenigsegg Jesko. So you'd be objectively making the car worse just so that it turns into a robot. And also, what does your transformer do in this imaginary world here? And I'm not trying to be mean to you either, Pineapple. I want to explore the idea because this is important. This is a part of like building stuff and making things that have value. So if you could make it so that it worked and it was still a Koenigsegg, what worse but cooler? Absolutely, you still haven't told me what the transformer does. Like, describe the transformer. Does it turn into a humanoid robot? And if it turns into a humanoid robot, is it like self-aware? Does a person drive it? Do you climb inside of it? What's the transforming aspect? Of course, it shoots rockets. Transformers would be the outward expressions of AI. Yeah, dude, exactly. I mean, okay, so it's a war machine is what you're going for? But why not just make the war machine? Just make a war machine. It doesn't have to be a Jesko. And here's the other thing. The Jesko is a very specialized machine. It does one thing well, which is go really, really fast on a surface, a smooth surface. That's what it's engineered to do. So if you're attempting to engineer it to become a humanoid robot, then it's going to be worse at doing the Jesko stuff. And the humanoid robot is going to be bad at being a humanoid robot because of the engineering mechanics required to make it be a humanoid robot. You're solving a completely different problem. Queen Anne says, I've recently gotten back into making puzzles for Endless U. Was working on other aspects of the project, and I got a handful of post-demo levels in the style of the current demo. Sick, dude. Yeah, if you want to share, Queen Anne, I'm down to check it out. I really want to see Endless U grow into, the thing that we've like talked about a bunch, right? In DMs. Also, Pineapple, you still have not hit me up to give you game design consultation on Pull My Finger. So, that's another reason why I'm saying just work on your game, dude. Okay, so here's another consideration. If the humanoid robot can shoot rockets, rockets are like disposable. You'd have to reload it. And you would have to expose like the ordnance pods on the car, which are going to be bad for physics and like balance and stuff like that too. Probably when you get back from Hawaii. I mean, dude, you just tell me, and then we'll coordinate a time that it works. But yeah, it's up to you. It's all the ball's in your court. You've got control over that. Let's see. Queen Anne, do you know how many levels you're going to try to ship? And I guess I don't mean like the sub levels, because I would consider what I've played a level with like sub levels. Will do. Cool, man. Yeah. Doors open, so you just got to walk through it. Yeah, I want to know more about your levels, Queen Anne. Or is this like you trying to play your cards close to your chest here and not say too much? They're not ready to be looked at probably, but I don't know if you played the newest demo version after that advice you gave. I played the Capstone experience. And that's, yeah, take it easy, Pineapple. Good luck, man. Yeah, are you talking about the Capstone experience, Queen Anne? Because I did play that, and I really liked it. I thought it was a huge improvement. And I feel like you're not making a game like Mysterious Book, but I think there's a lot of really, really good lessons or ideas that you could pull out of Mysterious Book. So yeah, I would say if you can't buy a Switch and you can't play it, maybe kind of ruin the game for yourself and watch a bunch of walkthroughs and like how people are playing it and like their favorite levels and stuff like that. Like really get into the media around the game. You know, check out content creators that are playing it and stuff like that. That'd be a good way to harvest that sort of information. I think the game feel is pretty like straightforward. Plays like Yoshi's Island. You know how that goes. So I don't know that you necessarily need to play it. You can probably glean a lot from watching other people play it. But yeah, I mean, you're going to spoil it for yourself if you do. All my Nintendo enjoyment is live vicariously through playthroughs. I mean, if I'm honest, it's got to be nostalgia for me because like Nintendo games were very much what made me truly like start to love this thing as like my core hobby and interest and passion, you know? So for me, I think it's fair to say the reason I love games like Mysterious Book is because it reminds me, you know, I think I said this last week, it reminds me of being a kid, you know, waking up and eating a bowl of cereal and watching cartoons on Saturday morning and then playing Yoshi all day, right? Like it very much taps into that part of my brain. You played the capstone experience, but I shortened it and added a midterm level. Based on you and Tony saying it dragged a little bit. Nice. Awesome. So yeah, I have not played that yet. 7 levels will be shipped. When you say 7 levels, is it like the way I was imagining it? Whereas the experience that we played is like 1 level, but there's like sub levels to it. Yeah, it has to be that because I think what we played is like 7 levels. That's really cool. So you're probably like under 10 hours of gameplay, but like sort of thereabouts. Because I feel like one level, playing it the first time was probably about 40 minutes. I could see a player playing that for a little bit longer. But yeah, somewhere between like 40 to 60 minutes for one level. Yeah. So you got like 7-8 hours of gameplay, something like that, or like 6 to 8 hours of gameplay, that's great. I mean, that's very good. This is your first. I know you've made a bunch of stuff, but is this your first like serious indie project? Each level probably gets longer in runtime. Yeah, exactly, Queen Anne. And especially like it's very hard to factor in that fuzzy amount of time that it takes a player to figure out the puzzles because like some people might spend, 30 seconds and solve the puzzle really quickly, and other people might spend like 25 minutes on the same piece of gameplay. So that's going to, increase or decrease player time spent in the game by significant amounts. This is the most serious I've been about a game for sure. That's fucking awesome, Queen Anne. I really hope it goes for you guys and that you can make another game at least, and keep doing this because that's what really matters. Yeah. Like if you can pay your bills, make this your job full time and you can do it again. We're hoping to chain off of this one. That's great. That's really, really good. And I hope that whatever partnership deals you signed were good for you and that they're not going to take all your fucking money so that you can't make another game. That's the dream after all, right? Like, most of us in chat want to do that. We want to be able to sustain our lifestyle by making things that we really care about, that we're passionate about, that are fun, that, yeah. And it's always pain and struggle. But when you finish the thing and you put it out there, and you see someone else enjoy it, that's the coolest fucking thing ever. Ideally, quote P. Oh, did you hit enter too early, Vib? That's going to be a huge factor in closing a deal or choosing a deal. Good.
Yeah. I think it's an emoticon, like tongue sticking out type shit.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm
That's
not
how,
tracking.
that must be how they do them over there, you know?
Yeah, do you do quotation mark P instead of like colon and then P? Like that's the one I'm used to. Never mind XD. Bro, I'm just fucking your emotes up. No, you're fine, Viv. Don't worry about it. You're totally fine. I'm not like being glib or anything. I'm a bit pedantic, so I'm trying to be clear about what someone is trying to say. That's all. Oh, I saw another game that's super similar to ours that recently went into playtesting. I wouldn't worry about comps. I think the best like so think about Adder and his comps and like what they have been, concerned about potentially in the marketplace. You should really care more about your release date around a comp. So you don't want to release at the same time because consumers are only going to have an appetite for one of those two things or like one of five. So games, as we know, do like 80%, 90% of the sales on launch day, like launch week, right? So you
Does
can
that apply
have
to indies too? Does
what's that?
that apply to indies too?
Yeah. It's like every game release.
Oh, okay.
But there are so this is traditional game industry stuff. We're in a brave new world. It's different now. You can have a game out for a year and do like poor sales, and then a content creator picks it up and then gets other content creators to play it. And now you've moved like tens of thousands of more units than you expected to. So that's the tricky part. That is a factor. But if you time it right with your release and a content creator picks it up, then you hit jackpot. You did everything, you got lucky, and you took off like Mecha Chameleon. Still different enough that it's not a problem. I'm actually super excited because we didn't have a proper comp at all before. That's fucking awesome, Queen Anne. And all you got to do is just beat them. Make your game better, more visually appealing, more gameplay, more depth. Make it a better price point value for the player. Adder says it's actually nice having market competition, especially if they announce or show first, because then you get free info on what's working and what's not. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're making something completely unique, like you have no way to know if anybody's even going to be into it because there's no comparison.
That's why, if you guys are wondering about why AAA doesn't want to make novel IPs because of risk, is because AAA is spending tens or hundreds, usually hundreds of millions on making a novel IP. And if they do that and nobody knows about it or they're iffy on the like marketing materials, then they've lost a lot of money. As indies, we are not doing the same thing. So it's easier for us to take a bigger risk. Like it's more effective for us, I guess, because we're not chasing hundreds of millions in investment to make this thing go. Yo, what's up, anime? Yo, thank you for the resub there, brother. Yep, that's what I'm feeling at her. They have 30,000 wish list, proves our concept. Have you seen the trailer park simulator Dawson Oaks? No, we have not, Marengo, or at least I haven't. Maybe Tony has.
Nope. Mm-mm. Trailer park simulator, huh?
So, Vib, I've actually talked about that a bunch, and I think that's a part of the problem why AAA is so stagnant and why AAA has been making huge fumbles lately is because they do spend a lot of money on research and big data and try to identify. So this is the problem with the modern audience or chasing the female gamer. These people are looking at huge sets of data that collate interests across a demographic, and they're like, we need to make a game that has these interests, and it's like 10 out of 15 interests, and if they hone in on that, they're like, that'll do it, that'll sell. That's not how people buy games. People buy games if it's a good game first. That's it. So that's where they're like making big mistakes. That's why I yell about the business leadership making really dumb decisions. They're indexing very much off of these focus groups and large data sets, especially in AAA. Marengo says it's a social game where the tenants have to find out who is snitching to the supervisor. Oh, like fucking Trailer Park Boys type shit? You got fucking Leahy over there just getting hammered and rolling up on you, fucking up your vibes.
Fucking bottle kids.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude, fucking bottle kids all the time.
Bottle kids.
Okay, so I talked about some Lego sets. I guess we're getting close to time here, Tony.
Yeah.
Yo, that's really funny, Adder. Shooty, I know you wanted me to read your DMs. This is very WoW specific stuff, and I can't watch a video while we're streaming because it hurts the stream. But I'll check that stuff out after stream and get back to you in DMs. They like strawberries. They like steak. Let's put strawberry jam on a steak. Exactly, Queen Anne. Yes, yes, that is a great way to describe how it works. And it's absolutely crazy. I think the weirdest part to me, and the reason why I mentioned the female gamer and capturing that demo in the market, is that's not a thing. Female gamer is just gamer. It's just a person who wants to play games. Yeah, no worries, Adder. Take it easy. Yeah, you too, man. Good luck with your bugs. So yeah, don't chase like a specific demo. You're not going to capture it. Same with like the broad audience, or gray gamers, and that one thing I read a couple months ago when they were talking about gamers above the age of 45 or something like that. It's absolutely crazy. Not first, that's true, Anna. Pineapple tried to get it a couple times, but LFQ got that shit in 4 seconds at the top of the stream. So man's a gamer. Germa says content creators are great for music too. Building relationships with people and allowing them to use my music in their content has the potential to pull a lot for attention. I mean, I appreciate that you're working with us, Jeremy. Like that's you make fucking awesome stuff. It's been very, very cool and inspiring for the project. So, we really appreciate you. You're super awesome, dude. We're working on some other things, but if you've got some more ideas and you want to, do some stuff, we should chat soon. Everything you give us is great. Hello. Lots of hellos. I love how friendly you guys are to each other. It's very cool. Nice, happy community. I feel like I was a little too mean to Pineapple, or like too stern with him, and he's like ran away because of that. Hopefully he's just working on pull my finger. But yeah, Jeremy makes a good point. Fostering a relationship with a content creator is very important, especially for marketing nowadays. And like the big companies absolutely do that. They're very expensive to pay to do a paid advertisement. But if you can, like, what's a good example? Warka with Trail and Error. They got picked up by a content creator on like launch day, and that moved a lot of copies for them. So that's really, really good. That's just a happy accident. And Warka's come through a couple times, and we've talked about like how to foster that relationship and like reach out to other content creators for Trail and Error. And yeah. What are these, Marengo? These look like crabs to me. Warka Evil. Vote evil. Oh, it's a resistance fist. I see. It's good to hear about Trail and Error. Yeah, so I guess Trail and Error is doing pretty well. I'm gonna look it up real quick on the old Steam and see how they're doing on reviews and stuff.
Yeah, he was saying he had some like real big content creators playing it, right?
Ooh, no, that hurts. Recent reviews are mixed. I hate that. All reviews are mostly positive though. Man, that feels bad. And they're under 100 reviews, which is not super great. Well, fuck. That didn't make me feel good looking at this. And now I want to go buy it just to be like, support these guys. It's $8, guys. Friend Sloppy, similar to Peak, similar to Backrooms Escape Together.
Fucking stream Trail and Error game tomorrow.
Yeah, fuck it. Why not?
Could do that. I know Cog and some other people already own it, so they'd play with us.
Yeah, if you guys want to play with us tomorrow, we could definitely do that. That seems cool. Okay. So yeah, those are unfortunate reviews. That makes me unhappy. I want to see some of these mixed. Not recommended. You may have seen a clip or two. Popular streamer thought this would be an enjoyable experience. Do not be mistaken. The game is a waste of time. Oh boy. Okay, I don't know what this guy was looking for, but this guy does not like it. I bet this game is a lot more fun with people, and I bet he was playing solo. Because when I was watching Warka play around launch time with his community, there was some shenanigans they were getting up to, and it looked really fun. Yeah, a lot of these positive reviews are so fun with a group, really good with a group. I like playing this with my friends. I mean, who's playing a friend slap solo? Like, that's kind of crazy. You're supposed to play these with people. That's why they're cheap. That's why they're a little wacky. Jeremy G says, I have an idea for a game. There's a beat battle website that has made this beat battle format into a game with leaderboard and all. You should turn that into an idea, turn that idea into a VST so it's in your DAW. It's just waiting for someone to jump on it. I mean, yeah, dude, we've got
I'm actually working on some Ableton integration type stuff, like actively right now in the background a little bit. So I don't know. If you want to talk about it sometime, let me know. I know you're a filthy FL Studio user, so I don't really know how I'm going to help you, but we can figure it out. So.
I like that Jerma can express himself with the Fruity Loops. So,
like I've said, I like to make that jab, but I don't actually think that. So,
what's VST3?
It's like virtual instrument format.
Okay. Yeah, Marengo, that's what. So this is how we met Jeremy G. He's from the Beat Off on every Thursday, and he's made some very fucking awesome stuff. I usually vote for Jeremy G's tracks. I really like him. So then I slid into his DMs, chatted with him about a bunch of work and see if he wanted to contribute to Dread, and he's basically been driving a lot of the audio, landscape for what our game is, which is really, really fucking cool. He may not even be aware, but yeah, he's definitely like defining what our game sounds like, and it's very fucking cool. I usually lurk and listen to the tracks. Hell yeah, Marengo. I'm glad you like it, Jerma. It's been awesome working with you, man. Like, so we'll talk every couple of weeks or something like that. Have like a hour-long, 90-minute conversation, and then in like a week or two, Jerma just drops a bunch of fucking perfect tracks. Like exactly the type of shit we're looking for. He's right on it. So, if you guys are considering needing an audio engineer, like Jerma is high quality. Definitely hit him up. Please correct me if I'm wrong here. His SoundCloud is Jermacide. Like, I think I'm going to spell it correctly here. I think it's that. And that's kind of his artist name. That's what he goes by. But yeah, dude is fucking awesome. So yeah, if you guys got any paid gigs or anything you want to throw his way, definitely do it. You will not be disappointed. Like Jerma's not even into horror stuff, and he like was just hitting it perfectly for the vibes we're going for. So yeah, very cool. Let's see. Themed Lego sets. We talked about tariffs on Nintendo. We talked about Marathon. Let me see if I got anything else in here that I can pull out of the well. No, I think I tapped them all out. Let's see what else we've got. Fortnite next season could be based on gaming legends, including Sonic, Kingdom Hearts, and Persona. I don't care. Oh, Duskblood's network test on Switch 2 opens today. The test itself runs from August 21st to 24th. Well, that's Mortal Shell release weekend. I won't be playing that. So, yeah, I'm going to be playing Mortal Shell 2 that whole time. Ooh, what's this? Xbox backward compatibility launches on PC. 4 Xbox games are playable right now. Classic Xbox games are now playable on Windows PC thanks to Xbox backward compatibility on PC, which launches today in an early release state. It'll be available to play on Windows PCs and handhelds like the ROG Xbox Ally. Oh, man. Oh, here we go. All right, Tony. 4 games. Blinks Time Sweeper.
What is this for?
This is so backwards compatibility. These are Xbox games that you can now get on your PC or your ROG Ally if you have one of those.
Okay.
Blinks Time Sweeper. Don't really care. Conquer Live and Reloaded might be fun.
Yep. I mean, these are both Xbox classics. So
Crimson Skies, High Road to Revenge.
Let's fucking go.
Tony's happy about that.
I can get that on my PC.
Yeah,
dude,
it's live today.
Oh my god, we got to play Crimson Skies.
All right, so this is a new story, and then the last one is Fusion Frenzy.
Okay, classics. Those are all good ones. That's awesome.
Players can currently purchase any of these games on PC, with more games planned to be added in the future. Titles also include all Xbox Game Pass tiers. They're included on the Game Pass tiers. Yeah, Crimson Skies is great.
Love Crimson Skies.
Oh, Turning Cog is here. What's up, brother? I still have to really release anything, to be honest. I mean, Germa, like, it's just time, brother. Like,
it'll stop being fun when you do, man.
Yeah,
just like avoid it for as long as possible, and then just like dump a mountain of shit out someday when you're like over it.
Yep. And you know, hopefully Dread does well, and you'll get a bump from that. And then, I mean, I think you have to think about, like, what do you want from this? You know, do you want to just keep making music for fun? Do you want it to be your main job? Like, all of that stuff is a thing that you should be thinking about for your future, because like you've got some skills, brother. Like, for real. I could see you transitioning into being a full-time audio engineer, and, like, you know, not just making music, but making like stuff for games and whatnot. Like, you've been awesome at it so far. So that sounds really cool. Okay, so we've got these 4 Xbox games, which is really cool. New features have been added to the titles, including 4x resolution scaling, VSync support, texture filtering, anti-aliasing, and more. Xbox confirmed that achievements will be added in the future. Original Xbox games never had achievements, but Xbox plans to add them to both the console and PC versions in the coming months. Minimum system requirements are very low, like GTX 950, Radeon RX 68005. That's recommended. Sorry, min spec is Radeon RX 550. 4 cores, Intel Core i3, Ryzen 3 1200, 8 gigs of RAM, Windows 11. Okay, so if you're on Windows 10 still, then you might be shit
so
out
like
of luck.
a Xbox 360 or something would be able to do it.
Yeah, totally. Recommended is a 68005 or GTX 1070 Ti. 6 cores, 12 threads. Looks like they got some fucking perf overhead here for whatever emulation they're doing. LFQ's on Windows 10. That's crazy. Good luck, dude. I was on Windows 10 forever until I built this PC, last year?
I still got a few on Windows 10. Like, our stream computer's on Windows 10. That might be the only one now. But yeah.
Sweet. Tony, anything else you wanna? We should probably wrap it up. Who we got for raids? You know, gang. Anyone out there?
We got Warka.
I mean, shit. I was just talking about Warka.
Yeah, let's go Warka. That's appropriate.
Yeah. All right, guys. You know, holler at Warka. Drop some trees. I know we're not raiding with a huge group, but yeah, it's all good. Go show the love, and it looks like he's bug fixing and working towards the 1.0 launch of Trail and Error. So they're in early access right now. So I'm going to hit start on this. We're going to have tomorrow. Yeah. And I think we're going to play some Trail and Error. So we'll see how that goes. But
if people are into it, if not, I'll probably just do what I'm doing today. So let us know.
Yeah. Sounds good. All right. Cheers, guys. We'll catch you tomorrow. Everyone say what's up to Warka. All right. Later, y'all.
Peace.